Today, we're going to dive into some really fascinating psychological insights about women. Now, this isn't about stereotypes at all. It's about understanding different ways of thinking and feeling so we can all build deeper, more meaningful connections. Let's jump right in. So, let me ask you a question, straight up. How well do you really know what's going on in a woman's mind? I mean, beyond what you see on the surface. We're about to pull back the curtain on what psychology has to say about it. First up, let's explore that internal world. The way thoughts are processed, those unique patterns, and of course, that famous intuition. Okay, so you've probably heard of a sixth sense, right? Well, you can think of it like a highly active emotional radar. It's not magic, it's all about picking up on tiny, almost invisible clues. A shift in body language, a slight change in tone, to get a real sense of what's true. And this brings us to another huge piece of that inner world, analysis. A simple situation is rarely just a simple situation. It's often looked at from a whole bunch of different angles. This visual really says it all, doesn't it? Something that seems like a tiny single issue can be turned over and examined from like 10 different perspectives. What does it mean right now? What could it mean for the future? How does it affect everyone involved? It's just a much deeper, more complex way of looking at things. So, if the mind is analyzing everything from all those angles, it only makes sense that the emotions tied to those things are just as deep, right? Let's dive into that. And a key difference that comes up is how long those emotional experiences stick around. Now, this isn't about one way being better than the other. Not at all. It's just a different way of processing. For women, those feelings, both the good and the bad, can often be felt more deeply and resonate for a lot longer. And this emotional depth is completely connected to memory. If an event has a strong emotional impact, the smallest details can be locked in with crystal clarity for years. We're talking the exact words used, the way the tone shifted, the entire vibe of the room. It's why what you say in those big moments really, really matter. But here's the good news. Because of this emotional sensitivity, the opposite is also true. It doesn't always take some huge, grand gesture to make an impact. Sometimes just one single thing is enough. Think about it. A single, heartfelt compliment. It might seem like such a small thing to the person giving it, but to the person receiving it, it can be so deeply felt that it literally brightens up their entire day. It just goes to show you how powerful our small, kind actions can be. Okay, so this leads us perfectly into our next section. How do all these internal thoughts and deep emotions actually show up in the real world? Specifically in the way we connect with each other in relationships. You know that old saying, actions speak louder than words? Well, it's especially true here. Saying I care or I love you is wonderful, of course. But what often carries the most weight are the consistent actions behind those words. It's the effort, the listening, the being there that truly shows you care. There's this common idea that women are open books, sharing everything, but actually it's often the complete opposite. Those deepest, most vulnerable feelings, they're kept under lock and key, reserved only for the very few people who have truly, over time, earned that trust. And because that trust is such a huge deal, when it feels broken, it can be unbelievably painful. When someone you've let in, someone you trust completely, suddenly acts cold or ignores you, it hurts so much more because of that vulnerability you shared. So when it comes down to it, what really builds that lasting connection? What's really attractive? More often than not, it's not about looks. It's about these three things: respectful behavior, a real effort to understand, and open, honest communication. That's the stuff that builds real attraction. All right, for our final section, let's talk about the foundation that all of this is built on: strength, and the incredibly important need for security. One of the most incredible strengths you see is the ability to multitask. Seriously, juggling a career, a home, and all the complex emotions that go with it all at the same time. It's amazing. Some research even points to how women's brains might be wired to handle multiple things at once a bit differently. And then there's this powerful protective instinct. Even when they're going through their own pain or their own struggles, so many women have this deep, natural drive to protect the people they love from getting hurt. It's a quiet kind of strength, but it's absolutely immense. And finally, security. This is so, so important to understand. And it's not just about money in the bank. True security is about feeling emotionally safe. It's about mental peace. It's that deep down calm you feel when you know you have someone's loyalty. When those things are in place, that's when a woman can really thrive. So, what's the bottom line here? If we could boil it all down, it's this. First, Try to understand what's going on beneath the surface. Second, let your actions show your respect, not just your words. And third, remember how crucial it is to create a space of emotional and mental security. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Knowing all this, what's one small change you could make, maybe even starting today, that could bring a really positive shift to the relationships in your own life? Something to think about. Thanks for listening.